a little bit late. You're just in time. Welcome. Here we go. Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show, Friday, March 14th. And it is something to watch what's going on in the U.S. Senate. You have Senator Chuck Schumer now reversing course on this spending bill. And he said, I will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down. He said on the Senate floor yesterday. This is a beautiful thing to watch. You have got Democrats really just fracturing over this, and some who are very upset with him. They're screaming at each other over in the Senate. So Senator Schumer, and you've got to think there will be others who are going to follow him. So he says, you've also got Senator John Fetterman, who has also said that he would not vote to close down the government. So he'll vote in favor of the CR. So you've got two. I think there are 8 more votes that are needed. And you've got a few Republicans like Senator Rand Paul, who has said he will not vote in favor of it. It's pretty incredible. Senator Schumer saying, while the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse, he said last night. Allowing Trump to even take much more power is a far worse option, he said. Oh, yeah, because they're like, I mean, they got these visions of, Trump and the soldiers marching down the streets. I mean, it's just incredible. So he says, under a shutdown, Trump and Elon Musk would have carte blanche to destroy vital government services at a significantly faster rate than they can right now. I believe it is my job to make the best choice for the country, to minimize the harms to the American people. Therefore, I will vote to keep the government open and not shut it down. So, as I mentioned, Senator John Fetterman, one of the few Democrats who is. So this statement by Senator Chuck Schumer just, was like lighting a grenade, because the reaction was pretty explosive. You had Democrats, headline at the New York Post today, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand screamed at Democratic colleagues in an intra-party dispute over the shutdown. So let's see what she was reportedly heard screaming yesterday during a meeting with her Democratic Senate colleagues on how to deal with the shutdown. She was yelling so loudly. This was during a lunch at Capitol Hill yesterday. She was screaming so loudly that her voice could be heard through the doors, according to Fox News. These are thick wood doors to ensure privacy, right? And so you don't want voices carrying out into the hall, and these are conversations taking place privately. She was screaming so loud they could hear her through the doors. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. So Punchbowl News said she seems to be making the case against allowing the government to shut down. So she is also, does not want to see the federal government shut down. So Senator Schumer said, again, he's saying funding the government should be a bipartisan effort, but Republicans chose a partisan path, yada, 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 yada. Not all Senate Democrats are on board with Schumer's plan. Fetterman said Thursday, any party should never shut the government down. It is a gift for the Republicans, he said. And he said, in fact, if anything, I think they're effectively daring us to do that, shut the government down. It wasn't that long ago before we were lecturing that you can never shut the government down. So that's kind of inconsistent. You think? I just think that's par for the course when it comes to the Democrats. Inconsistency is kind of their hallmark. So this is hardly a surprise. So hours after Senator Gillibrand's outburst, Schumer then said on the Senate floor, he made the comments that I shared with you earlier, talking about, yeah, the CR is bad, but shutting the government down would be worse. And therefore, he said, I believe it's my job to make the best choice for the country, to minimize the harms to the American people. So this is just absolutely crazy. And he said, for Donald Trump, a shutdown would be a gift. So he will support it. Senator Fetterman, we know, will support it. And we'll see how, some of the additional votes break out. I thought I had a piece here. I must have misplaced it. Because Senator Ted Cruz saying, talking, this is in the story with Newsmax, and he was talking about the Democrats shouting at each other, and Senator Cruz is saying he thinks the Democrats are going to fold. They will fold on this issue, he says. So, Senate Majority Leader Senator John Thune yesterday was critical of Senator Schumer. Now, this is before the apparent change. Senator Thune said he criticized Schumer's nerve to complain about the CR. And he said if Schumer had problems with the current situation, then he should have funded the government when he was in charge. Senator Thune went on to say Schumer refused to consider several of the appropriations bills that were passed during his last 5 months as majority leader. And so he said it's time for Democrats to fish or cut bait. Democrats need to decide if they're going to support this funding legislation, if they're going to shut down the government. He said, I really hope the Democrats will remember this situation and others that we've been placed in and work in partnership with the Republicans to restore the regular order appropriations process. Continuing resolutions are never the preferred option. But thanks to the Democrat leader's decision to abandon the fiscal year 2025 appropriations process, the continuing resolution we have before us is the best option we have to fund the government for the balance of this year. And what Senator Thune is saying here, I think, is important and is correct, that this funding the government via these CRs is, let's get back to a regular order appropriations process. And the Senate has refused to do that. Instead, it has been fly by the seat of your pants. I blame everybody for this, Democrats, Republicans. It's just frustrating. Fly by the seat of their pants. And this is the mess you wind up with. I have been sick and tired of it for a long time, and I've got to imagine you are too. So I appreciate the comments from Senator Thune yesterday. So Democrats seem to be folding on this issue. That's a big story this morning. Also, and we've got to talk about this today. A second judge yesterday ordered the Trump administration to reinstate these probationary workers who were let go in all of these firings, multiple agencies. This is a U.S. district judge, an Obama appointee. He said the administration ignored laws set out for large-scale layoffs. He ordered the firing stopped for at least 2 weeks. I'm really curious to get your take on this. This is just overwhelming. He sided with nearly 24 states, all Democrat states, by the way. It's the split we see in this country between Democrats and Republicans. This is a great example. And the idea that the federal government can't fire federal workers, that you cannot have the chief executive in the chief executive branch administering the executive branch. It's just absolute nonsense. So there was, as I mentioned, there were several judges, and one of them I know had gotten pretty testy. He was obviously bothered during this. I'm taking a look at some of these stories. The judge said the states that sued are suffering irreparable harm by having to assist thousands of unemployed workers who were fired illegally. The idea that they were fired illegally, I mean, this is just a little bit too much. So I would love to get your thoughts on this. I have to be candid. This is bothersome, what we are seeing. So the judge ordering half a dozen federal agencies to immediately reinstate these probationary employees. What's the whole definition of probationary? What does probationary mean? For those of this is the thing about probationary employees. Apparently, in the federal government, it means a lifetime fix. I mean, you are set for life. You get a job, whether you're a probationary period, a probationary employee rather, or you are a 20-year employee. Doesn't matter. You're in. That's it. This is just absolutely incredible. So this is I'm eager to get your reaction to this coming up this morning. So this is, I think there were 2 different judges that ruled on this. Yeah, one in Baltimore, who was an Obama appointee, and the other one was the one who got upset. He's a Bill Clinton employee, and requires the Departments of Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, Defense, Energy, Interior, and Treasury to rehire these employees. And the judge said that he might extend the order to cover other federal agencies at a later time. So he's a Bill Clinton appointee, said he was making the ruling because he believes the Office of Personnel Management unlawfully directed the agencies earlier this year to lay off the probationary employees. Again, these are folks who have been on the job for less than a year. And he said the court finds that they did direct all agencies to terminate probationary employees with the exception of mission critical employees. And he was quite upset. It's a sad day when our government would fire some good employee and say, now again, they're probationary employees. What does that mean? It means they've been on the job for less than a year. Since when is receiving a federal job a lifetime fix? These are I mean, these are what, lifetime appointments to federal jobs? Wow. Absolutely incredible. I wanted to finish his comment here. He said, it's a sad day when our government would fire some good employee and say it was based on performance when they know good and well that's a lie. They should not have, that should not have been done in our country. It was a sham to try to avoid statutory requirements. What an absolute mess. So I welcome your thoughts on this. I put up a post earlier this morning on Facebook for those of you who follow me on Facebook. So please feel free to leave your comments there. We'll open up the phone line coming up this morning after 7. If you'd like to drop me an email, it's available to you anytime, greg.belfrage@kelo.com. greg.belfrage@kelo.com. Also, the president is getting ready to invoke wartime powers in order to speed up deportations. You heard this story. The president planning, and this may come today, the president planning to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. And again, that may come as early as today. And this is an effort to combat Tren de Aragua, which is that gang from Venezuela, as well as other criminal aliens. And the plan then to use Guantanamo Bay to detain them. So the congressman who visited Guantanamo Bay this week disclosed that the first wave of illegal aliens taken to Guantanamo were being deported home already, which means then that's opening up space for others. And the facility was adapted so that more dangerous detainees can be held there. If they're dangerous, they're held in prison-like structures. Non-violent aliens just stay in kind of these tent-like structures at Guantanamo Bay. So if you're not considered to be dangerous, you're kept there. And Representative Abe Hamada of Arizona said it's a slow start right now because when I was there, they had about 20 of the high threat illegal immigrants, and they had about 70 of the low level threats. But they're just getting started and ramping up. But I was assured that they're going to be successful in this mission. So the president, again, potentially today, getting ready to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. And I love the way he has been using some of these older laws, from a time when America was not crazy, going back and using those. Other stories this morning. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was interviewed by Breitbart News yesterday. And he says that the president's administration employing an all hands on deck approach to undoing the damage to the economy that Joe Biden and Democrats had left. So he talked about a number of things. He is expressing optimism. And he said, what remains to be done? He said, the Trump White House inherited an affordability crisis. And that right now the administration is doing everything it can to prevent recursive Bidenflation, he said. There were a lot of things that were out of control. So the inflation was out of control. We inherited an affordability crisis. Hopefully we don't get, a recursive Bidenflation. We're very vigilant. It could happen again, but we're doing everything we can to keep it down. Before we bring down inflation, we also want to help affordability. So as we bring down inflation, we want to bring the absolute price level down through deregulation, bringing down interest rates for house payments, car payments. Then on inflation, we are seeing some signs. He said crude oil is down about 15% since President Trump took office. That's something we're focused on. Mortgage rates have come down every week since he's been in office. So there's some good signs. But as you said, there was a lot of blowout spending and a lot of blowout inflation. Pretty interesting comments that he made. And he went on. You can find that entire story at Breitbart.com this morning. You've got Columbia University expelling additional students at Hamilton Hall, and more. And that's a look at the big stories this morning. 6:27. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show, brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. It's mostly clear and 45 at Kello.
Weeknights 5 to 8. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is sponsored by Tires. The Give You More Tire and Automotive Store.
For some, Sundays are a day of rest, but if you like a little mischief before Monday, head to Royal River Casino for some sinful spins on the Golden Royal Wheel. Every Sunday in April, members playing with their rewards card can earn points. Then swipe your card and spin the wheel at the kiosk to reveal your free play prize. And who doesn't like to play for free? It's almost sinful. But don't worry, it'll be our little secret.
I talk too much.
Must be 21 to play.
It's time to stop making excuses.
Wind up having to bounce things around here.
Colonoscopy is worth it. It's the best way to prevent and detect one of the deadliest cancers. In fact, your doctor can remove precancerous polyps during the procedure if necessary. That's right.
There we go.
Cancer. No buts about it. Get a colonoscopy at 45 and follow up every 10 years, or as recommended by your doctor. Find a location or schedule now at avera.org/colon.
If you're a business owner, or if you know a business owner, this message is for you. At Bank Midwest, we understand that your company's operating account is one of your most important financial tools. That's why we've added free fraud protection services to our basic business and business checking. And we'll even give you a cash bonus to open your account. Shouldn't your company have the benefit of an operating account this good? Find out how you can get more for your money at Bank Midwest. Member FDIC.
High today is 74 in the Sioux Falls area. Southeast wind 15 to 30. Chances of showers and thunderstorms arriving from the south, mainly after 3 or 4 this afternoon. All right, Kendall.
And in Sioux Falls, it's at 6:30 now. Mostly clear and 45 at Kello. Joe Bowman is on duty in the Kello.com News Center. There's an Amber Alert that's been issued in South Dakota following a reported kidnapping of a baby in Sioux Falls. Joe is going to have those details coming up for you here in just a moment. Citizens are being asked to keep their eyes open. Also, a home in Sioux Falls caught on fire, and it's unclear how it happened. Also, Governor Roden calling the recent session of the legislature a success. Details on those stories and more coming up on Kello.
He will vote for the Republican short-term spending bill to prevent a partial government shutdown tonight.
The question is whether or not this unlocks some other Democratic votes. He said that otherwise a government shutdown would give President Trump and Elon Musk what he termed carte blanche and the keys to the city.
Fox's chat program. Columbia University in New York has now.
I love watching Democrats just.
Building during the Hamas war protest last spring. The agency, meantime, searched 2 student residences last night.
Columbia interim President Katrina Armstrong revealing the raids in a letter to the school community. She says no one was arrested or detained. Armstrong says she was obligated to comply with the law, adding that no items were removed and no action was taken by the feds.
Boston's Chris DeMeo, protest leader Mahmoud Khalil, is in federal custody fighting deportation, arrested last Saturday. America's listening to Fox News.
Kello News Time 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. An Amber Alert has been issued in South Dakota following a reported kidnapping in Sioux Falls. Officials say around 9 p.m. last night, 1-year-old Javian Bluebird was forcibly abducted from his grandmother's home by 2 women, one armed with a handgun. Sioux Falls police say the main suspect is 29-year-old Lilana Sitting Up. A 17-year-old juvenile female was in the company of Lilana at the time of the abduction. Neither of the 2 women is the child's parent or legal guardian. Lilana Sitting Up is a Native American female, 5'3", 120 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, and has a tattoo with the words "No excuses, no regrets" on the right side of her neck. She was last seen wearing a black shirt and black sweatpants. The 2 women are believed to be driving an early 2000s white Chevrolet Impala with loud power steering. Anyone with information, please contact Metro Communications at 605-367-7000. Again, that's 605-367-7000. A home in Sioux Falls caught on fire, and it's unclear how. Sioux Falls Fire Rescue responded to the 1900 block of West Johnson Place around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Crews found a modular home with fire at the main entrance as well as the attached carport. No residents were found inside. The cause is under investigation. Governor Roden calls the 100th session of the South Dakota legislature a success. In his weekly presser yesterday, Roden said overall it was a good session.
There were the hiccups, obviously the prison. I would have liked a better outcome on that, but we had a lot of successes. At the end of the day, we had our 136th balanced budget.
The legislature will return to Pierre for a special session this summer to resolve the issue of building a new men's penitentiary. And in sports, the Twins broke their losing streak, beating the Pirates 15-3 yesterday in spring training play. And the Timberwolves go for their 7th straight win when they tip off against the Orlando Magic tonight at 7. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
High today near 74 in the Sioux Falls area with increasing clouds. Chances of showers and thunderstorms after 4 o'clock. Severe weather cannot be ruled out, especially northwest Iowa, southwest Minnesota for damaging winds. Tonight, low 29, areas of rain changing to snow. We have a winter storm watch for blizzard conditions possible tomorrow, high 36. From the Storm Center at Kettleland TV, I'm meteorologist Brian Karstens.
You have the power of information, entertaining talk, news when it happens. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
If only a few short years ago, someone told you that you don't just need one mobile number, you actually need 2, you probably would have called them nuts. But here in 2025, it's time. I'm Kim Commando for SimpliSafe. Visit simplysafekim.com to save 50% on a new system. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Now, you don't need 2 different phones, but you need a burner phone number. Your personal number is only for your closest family or business associates. Only a very select important few should have it, and they should never give it out. The burner phone number is for everyone and everything else. When someone, a store, delivery service, credit card, for instance, requires a phone number, give them the burner number. Now, you can do this 2 ways. Buy an inexpensive prepaid burner phone from just about anywhere, or get a free Google Voice number, and then get some peace of mind. Join over 650,000 people who get my free newsletter every single morning. It's just a 5-minute read at getkim.com. We all need routines that bring us calm in a chaotic world. For millions of Americans, arming their SimpliSafe home security system is more than just a step in their daily routine. It's a moment of peace. With SimpliSafe, confidence is just a button press away. It's more than home security. It's their freedom to focus on what matters most. SimpliSafe pairs cutting-edge technology with 24/7 professional monitoring to deliver that peace of mind every day. Their award-winning system includes groundbreaking features like Active Guard outdoor protection, where live monitoring agents use AI-powered cameras to spot and engage threats. And right now, SimpliSafe is offering 50% off a new system with professional monitoring. Their 60-day risk-free trial means you can experience how SimpliSafe fits into your life worry-free. Visit simplysafekim.com to claim 50% off a new system with a professional monitoring plan and get your first month free. That's simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
The Kim Commando Show, live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is sponsored by Tires, with 2 locations to make sure you have the proper traction this winter.
On a quest for a tasty bite to eat, enjoy Safari Bar and Grill's ribeye steak dinner, smothered Philly cheesecake sandwich, or juicy Western burger. They consistently earn perfect health inspection scores. Safari Bar and Grill, 2 miles north of Sioux Falls on Cliff Avenue. Experience the wild side.
Bring charm from the outdoors into your home with Renewal by Andersen picture and combination windows, optimizing a beautiful view and light in the bedroom, kitchen, or living room from ABC Seamless of Sioux Falls. Call 605-646-2667 today.
That's ABC Seamless.
Emergencies strike at any time without warning. When they do, food disappears fast. That's why prepared Americans trust My Patriot Supply, the leader in long-term emergency food storage, to protect their families. For a limited time, order their best-selling 4-week emergency food supply and get 4 free 72-hour food kits. That's 12 extra days of food at no extra cost. That's nearly 2 weeks of extra food, free to keep your family secure. Plus, free shipping. Order by 3 p.m. for same-day shipping. All kits deliver 2,000 calories per day of easy-to-prepare meals with a shelf life up to 25 years. These kits that have been rated 4.8 out of 5 stars by tens of thousands of folks like you. When the next crisis hits, you'll be ready. Stock up now at MyPatriotSupply.com before this deal disappears. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com for your 4-week emergency food supply and 4 free extra food kits. MyPatriotSupply.com.
More happens in South Dakota every day than we can fit on one radio station, even Kello. That's why there's Kello.com.
With local stories, podcasts, and other exclusive content.
For more of South Dakota, go to Kello.com. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Hey, quick word for my friends at 49th Street Liquor at the corner of 49th Street and Minnesota. They've got a number of St. Patrick's Day specials. With St. Patrick's Day coming up pretty fast, we're only a few days away. You can find everything you need at 49th Street Liquor. Right now, Killian's Irish Red 6-packs for $5.99, Guinness 6-packs $8.99, a Busch 30-pack for $18.99. And you can also get Jameson Irish Whiskey for $24.99 right now at 49th Street Liquor. You're going to find anytime you've got events coming up, special events on the way, 49th Street Liquor has got everything you need. All your favorite beer, wine, and spirits, and a lot more. You're going to find seltzers. You're going to find a huge walk-in beer cave with a number of local beers there as well. So check it out. Also, they've got a really nice private video lottery space. So stop by and please tell them I sent you. Your happy hour starts at the new 49th Street Liquor at 49th in Minnesota. Cheers to good times and great drinks. "20 minutes before 7. It's mostly clear in 45. You're listening to the Greg Belfrage Show. Thank you so much for being here. You know, I hope you know I appreciate you, even when we disagree. I hope you always know that I appreciate you. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, a federal judge, I don't know, is there a federal George? I don't think so. A federal judge ordered the Trump administration yesterday, all of those fired probationary employees, you've got to rehire them. So the judge he named 6 different agencies, including the Department of Defense, And so the judge's order came during a federal court hearing over a lawsuit from the labor unions and other groups. And you're seeing what kind of power that they have, I think, right now is what you're seeing. It's these labor groups and the power that they have, unions, federal unions in particular. So the judge said that that the Office of Personnel Management didn't have the power to fire these workers. He was visibly frustrated with the government during the hearing yesterday, saying this is a sham at least 4 times. Yeah, the hearing was a sham, I think. We'll talk about it coming up. Also, the president yesterday threatening to impose, this is after I got off the air yesterday morning. I mentioned it on the 4th hour. The president threatened to impose a 200% tariff on alcohol products from France and other European countries. And he said, if this tariff is not removed immediately, this after the European Union announced that they were going to proceed with their tariff on American whiskey. So the president said, if this tariff is not removed immediately, the U.S. will place a 200% tariff on all wines, champagnes, and alcoholic products coming out of France and other EU represented countries. This will be great for the wine and champagne businesses in the U.S., he said. So he made those comments on True Social. Also, the president planning to use a wartime law to authorize the deportation, of some migrants. This law that the president wants to invoke is 200 years old, 1798. It's the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. And he will do this, according to reports, possibly as soon as today. That law gives presidents the power to order the arrest, detention, and deportation of non-citizens who are 14 years or older and come from countries staging an invasion or predatory incursion of the U.S. Predatory incursion. Was that what we saw with Mahmoud Khalil and he's that man who was the Trump administration attempting to deport him, and that wound up in front of a judge. Well, yesterday we saw nearly 100 arrests were made at Trump Tower after hundreds of New Yorkers and others packed into the lobby to protest. They're claiming to be Jewish. I would be amazed if many, if any, certainly don't believe that many of them are in fact Jewish. You know, they're out there, Jewish voices, and really, I've listened to a number of Jewish voices. Normally, we don't see them respond like this. I mean, so there were hundreds of them. And they showed up at Trump Tower then. And they were handcuffed and escorted out. They were associated with Jewish Voice for Peace. It's an organization that's critical of many of Israel's policies regarding the Palestinians. So they're claiming to be Jewish Voices for Peace, and yet here they are being arrested and having to be, disruptive to what was going on at Trump Tower. And there were at least 98 people arrested yesterday. I mean, it was just a parade. I watched some of this unfold yesterday. Fox News had live coverage, and I'm just sitting here, and sometimes it's like when you drive by an accident and you don't really want to look, right? You really don't want to look. You don't want to be gawking. And that's how this was. That's kind of how I felt. I'm like, honey, it's student after student, hundreds of them, or excuse me, not hundreds, dozens of them that were being escorted out. Police say the protesters came in two groups, including many who entered the public lobby area in civilian clothes, and they were hiding their protest gear underneath. Oh, yeah, these are real courageous individuals that we see. Also, there's this story about Columbia University, because some of the students then who have participated in you remember Hamilton Hall, and they occupied Hamilton Hall back, this was last year with these anti-Israel protests. Columbia University has now finally responded. And a number of these protesters have had their degrees revoked. And they have been expelled or suspended from the school. Columbia said that a judicial board issued sanctions against these students who occupied the hall. The school did not say how many were expelled, suspended, or had their degrees revoked. But the chair of the electrical engineering department, he's a member of the school's task force on anti-Semitism, said, finally demonstrating that breaking university rules has consequences is an important first step toward going back to the core missions of research and teaching. Absolutely right. There are consequences for breaking the rules. And I'm one who loves seeing, those consequences being enforced, because that has been sorely absent over the course of the last number of years, like during the Biden administration in particular. The lack of, holding people accountable for their lawlessness, the amount of rule breaking, law breaking. I've just been sick to death, and I've got to believe you have too. Just been sick to death of all of that nonsense. And I loved watching those, a number of students who were being marched out of Trump Tower in handcuffs yesterday. And they're shouting the whole way, and it's the same thing. They're all shouting the same thing. And I was just like, yeah, oh yeah. Okay. White House pulled the nomination of former Representative Dave Weldon of Florida. He was the president's pick to serve as director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. He was set to have a confirmation hearing, and hours before his confirmation hearing, the administration pulled the nomination. And the New York Times said it became clear to the White House that Weldon did not have the votes in the Senate to be confirmed. And so he showed up, and, he showed up as if the hearing was going to move forward, and others are saying he was told that this was not going to be moving forward. Also, NASA and SpaceX are hoping for another launch today. They want to rescue those stranded astronauts on the space station. And so they are hopefully today will launch 4 crew members to the International Space Station in an effort to try to get the 2 astronauts that have been up there for months, in an effort to try to get them home. That may take place yet today. Also, the Senate has advanced a couple of the president's nominees, both for National Institute of Health, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, and also as nominee for the FDA. So that's paving the way for final votes there. Pete Buttigieg saying that he will not be seeking the U.S. Senate seat in Michigan. I don't think this is a big surprise. Planning to run for president. I suspect that Buttigieg likely will be running for president in 2028. So whether or not he does, we'll see. But announcing that he will not seek this open U.S. Senate seat in Michigan, has many speculating that he may run. Also, the city council members in Boston voted this week to make Boston a sanctuary city for members of the transgender community. And one of the counselors at large said Boston is not going to back down. Back down from what? I mean, what are they talking about? Back down from what? They said we're seeing attacks on our trans loved ones here on the local level. A lot of folks are feeling helpless. I'm not in favor of anybody being attacked, whether they're for any reason. I'm not in favor of that. I want people to feel safe. So Boston is taking that step. Also, Gavin Newsom's podcast has been really making news here the last couple of weeks. Gavin Newsom had a conversation with Steve Bannon. And this is getting a lot of reaction. There are a few who are going nuts. And anytime you start talking about people who have kind of a nutty reaction, you can almost count on former Representative Adam Kinzinger to be among them. So Kinzinger said on social media, Bannon is the author of this chaos we're seeing right now. Bannon is the one that said, flood the zone with blank. Bannon is the one who has basically authored where we are and what Donald Trump wants. He says he called the Newsom's chat with Bannon unforgivable and insane. I thought, you should talk, man. This is also trending this morning. Stories about this this man who was held captive by his stepmom for 20 years. And there are a number of stories. By the way, there's a 56-year-old woman who's under arrest as a result of this, holding him at the residence, and he had to deliberately set fire to the home in order to escape, police say. And I have been watching this story over the course of the last few days. He told police he intentionally set fire to the upstairs room, saying, I wanted my freedom. He says that, again, it's Kimberly Sullivan. She's under arrest. He says Sullivan had held him captive since he was 11 years old. And investigators say that this man had endured prolonged abuse, starvation, severe neglect, and inhumane treatment. He was found in a severely emaciated condition, had not received medical or dental care during that entire time, had been provided with only minimal amounts of food and water, which led to his extremely malnourished condition. So these are pretty shocking conditions that this young man was being forced to endure, and finally finding his freedom. Also, the president, under the president's leadership, the United States has seen a surge in arrests by ICE during the first 50 days in his second term, more than doubling the daily rate under Joe Biden's administration. So the figures are coming out. Again, the president nearly doubling the number of arrests that we saw during the Biden administration. U.S. immigration detention currently filled to capacity at 47,600 detainees, according to senior immigration and these are ICE officials, a senior ICE official saying this on Wednesday, saying ICE expanding its capacity with support from the Department of Defense, U.S. Marshals Service, and the Bureau of Prisons. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. 657, mostly clear, 45. This hour of our show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. Well, thank you, my friend, for being here. Please come back for the fourth hour at 9:30 or catch it at your convenience later today. Want to wish you a great weekend. Take care. Papers everywhere.
Coming up for our next Leader of the Band show. This show will do a